Hey everyone, and welcome to the Ultimate Guide to Drawing Faces. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to draw different types of noses.
Now, although male and female noses are structurally the same, there are some differences. One of those differences is that female noses are narrower. Here, if we have a face and the eyes are one eye width apart, you can find the nose by dividing the face in half and then half again. The male nose generally is one eye width, but the female nose tends to be just a bit smaller than that. Another difference between men and women, here I'm doing a side view, two noses, is that it's more common for a woman to have slightly upturned nose, and for the nose to be shorter. But aside from these things, probably the only other big difference is the treatment. I'm going to draw two similar noses here. I made the female one a little bit smaller. But for the men, or for the male nose, I'm going to treat it more blocky. I might define the bridge of the nose. Maybe the nostrils can be quite defined. But on the female nose, I'm going to understate everything. Probably won't define the nostrils too much. I certainly won't define the bridge of the nose. And I'll make sure my lines are more curvy and rounded, more graceful and elegant. Now if I were to shade these two noses, with the male nose, let's say the light's coming from this direction, I could be pretty heavy-handed with the shadows. With the female nose, I really wouldn't shade too dark. And I'd leave things a lot more suggestive. Now what happens in anime sometimes is they try and replicate this, and you'll see sometimes noses that have this shape, or maybe this shape, where actually the only definition is the shadow, this shadow shape. But the important thing to remember is that female noses tend to be smaller, narrower, softer and rounded, and less defined. You might see the upper part, but the bridge is often completely invisible, and then you'll see an indication of the lower part of the nose. In the next few minutes, you will learn how to manipulate the generic nose to create a wide range of different nose types. So let's get to it. So in this video, we're going to build on the knowledge we already learned from the generic nose shape video. And if you recall from that lesson, we start with the bridge of the nose, get in the septum, ball of the nose, and then the nostrils. Now let's see how much variation we can get just by changing these aspects. Let's start by drawing the same nose as this, but in a side view. This is a pretty plain, pretty boring nose. Now let's spice things up a bit. Let's push the bridge of the nose out. Still have the septum like this, coming up. Let's bring the wing of the nostril quite a bit higher. So by changing these two aspects, we've created a completely different nose. Let's try pushing the bridge of the nose in instead of out. So here we created a hump, now we're going to do the opposite. And at the tip, so bringing the septum down like this, bring it in this kind of shape. Instead of pushing the nostril higher, I'm going to push it a bit lower. Now you see the aspects are the same. The nostril still points towards this ball. Just by changing the proportions and some of the features can completely change the nose shape. Okay, so let's do a front view now. Instead of this boring rectangle, let's create this kind of shape. Kind of like an hourglass. Now, have the ball. You can really balloon that out. And the septum, let's push it towards that ball. So it's barely visible. And then let's push the nostrils out this way. Now in drawing, everything's about the subtleties, so when I draw this nose, I make sure, if I zoomed in here, so we have this area here, and then the nostril here. I make sure that this line of the more forward part of the nose overlaps this line right here. And I add a little indication up here. What that does is it tells us that this part of the nose is in front, and then these parts go backward. Let's do another one. Eventually, you can get pretty fast and go straight from the bridge of the nose, find the ball, get the septum, use that rhythm from here to go up, then curve to find the nostril, then go down, leaving that gap to find the wing of the nose. So really the point of this all is that once you have the basics, the bridge, the septum, the ball, and the wings of the nostril, you really can create any nose. Here we have an upturned nose. Let's make those nostrils bigger. There you go. Have fun and see what kind of different variations you can come up with.
If you like this video, please help us by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Tell us which videos are your favorites or give us suggestions about what you'd like to see in the next video. And if you'd love to join a private community of dedicated artists, Come check us out at pencilkings.com, where we help artists from all over the world improve their artwork every single day.